Hello, this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is the Astro A30 Wireless. And this is the microphone from the headset, and I'm going to be using it through the entirety of the video, with the exception where I'm going to be talking about the mics later on, because you have a dual mic setup. And in this video I'm going to be unboxing and reviewing the Astro A30 Wireless, which is the first headset to come from Astro under the Logitech branding. And as you can see, a pretty fantastic looking headset with some really nice accents and a number of interesting highlights to it. Now this is a headset that comes in a couple of different variants, and you can see the Xbox version here. And for reference, I'm using it on PC, and I'm a PC gamer, so my review is going to be focused on my experience with that. But this headset is pitched as a platform agnostic headset, which means that it's designed to work on a multitude of devices. So yes, it says Xbox on the box, but naturally it will work with PC as well. It also has, as you'll see in a second, 3.5mm connection, Bluetooth, 2.4 GHz wireless, and you can also purchase, or at least you're meant to be able to, a USB-C dongle so that you can plug it into your phone, Nintendo Switch, and other things too. So plenty of connectivity options. More importantly, some really nice aesthetic, decent sound, and a reasonable microphone. You can hear the mic here, obviously not as good as my standalone microphone that you'd usually hear if you watch my reviews, but fairly reasonable. Now, as I said, this headset comes with two mics actually. You can see that it has this detachable boom mic, which is the one that I'm using now for this voiceover, but it also has built-in microphones in the headset itself, so that when you're not using this microphone, if you want to take it off and use the headset with your phone in Bluetooth mode, you can do that and use it outside the house as headphones. So a fairly understated sort of setup there. I say understated, obviously the white version stands out quite proudly, and that's no bad thing, I don't think. It's a very nice looking headset, and I was struck by a few different things that you've already spied probably, is that iridescent sort of styling underneath the speaker tags, which we'll get to in a minute, and the overall vibe of the thing with that white finish on it. Now you can see that you can pop the speaker tags off, which is classic Astro logic, and you can obviously buy extra ones, custom plates and other things to change to your style. They're held in place with magnets, and they are a little bit fiddly to get off, I'll be honest, but pretty awesome. It's a shame that they're not making more of the style there, because they kind of got these opaque speaker tags on there as standard, and then some really nice styling on the underside. The ear cushions also come off, as you can see there. Again, they're just held off with magnets, and they look like they come off really easily, but I've not actually knocked them off by accident during my use, which we're pretty pleased with. As you'll see, also memory foam cushioning and a faux leather finish. Now, I was pretty disappointed when I saw that, because I've always been a big fan of Astro's sort of velour finish on its previous headsets, especially the Astro A30 Gen 4, for example, because it's very comfortable. And these aren't as nice. They are still very nice, very soft, very plush, and obviously because of the faux leather block out a lot of noise in the surrounding environment, so much so that my wife keeps shouting at me because I can't hear her, and I think that is a good thing. That's a positive message that I'm sending to you now, is that you can't hear annoying noises when you're gaming. Also, it comes, as you can see, with a USB-C charging cable, and I found that the battery life on this thing is ridiculous. It goes on and on and on. I've barely had to charge it. I'll leave all the specs and everything else in the description for the claims on paper, but I've been using this in various different setups, both with the wireless dongle and also with the 3.5mm connection. As you can see, USB-C connection for when you need to charge, but also you can use it with a 3.5mm if you want to as well. Now this dongle that you can see here has a little button on it that allows you to switch between PC mode and console mode. So if you're using it with Xbox, for example, you can just plug it in, press that, and it'll switch into controller mode. Now I can't talk to the experience on console. I can only tell you what it's like on PC, because that's how I play games, and my experience has been great in various different ways. I've actually been very impressed with it in a number of different ways, apart from a small few minor annoyances. One of which is that little control stick that you can see on the bottom right on that ear cup there. So rather than having a volume wheel, you get this control knob, like a little joystick that allows you to change various things, and I'll show you some of that later on. where you can adjust the volume up and down, and it's sort of multi-function in that you can play and pause and skip music. It's kind of fiddly and annoying, and I really wish there was a volume wheel instead, but that's my personal preference. You'll also see that there's a power button and also a Bluetooth button, so you can turn both of those on. And yes, this does have dual connectivity, so you can actually have both at the same time. So you can connect your phone up and listen to music on your phone while also listening to game audio on your PC or console. And you can obviously mix in multiple audio sources with that 3.5mm as well. So there's plenty of options there for sound. So this thing ticks a lot of boxes already. Not only does it look great, it also blocks out a lot of external noise with passive noise cancellation thanks to those faux leather ear cups. Has a really nice style that you can customize with those speaker tags. As you've seen already, it also has a really nice padded headband. I found it's really easy to wear this headset all day long, with the one caveat that it does get warm because of the faux leather. The ear cups are nice and deep though, and I'm not finding any unnecessary pressure on my ears, so it's been very comfortable to wear in that way. And obviously the flexibility of it in terms of the multiple connection options is really appealing. I personally, for example, usually like to have a 3.5mm for mic monitoring, either to a USB microphone or to Rodecaster Pro 2, which I use regularly to mic monitor my usual broadcast setup. So a really good flexibility there. Obviously removable ear cushions is appealing if you need to take them off in future. Now the Astro A30 Wireless is controlled and accessible with the settings via an app. So there's a Logitech app which connects over Bluetooth on your phone, so you connect it up on Bluetooth and then you can control the device from your phone in various different ways. You can see the setup process in here. But once you get into that, you can do various things, like you can set side tone on the microphone so you can hear yourself in the mic, or turn that off if you don't like it. And you can adjust the equalizer settings as well, so you can change between immersive mode and Astro footsteps. So there's a couple of different sound settings for surround sound or just for the audio settings. And you can also tweak the equalizer, create a new custom preset and play around with that and tune it to your liking. Now I found out of the box that the sound on this is actually really good. It has a decent bass and a really good audio to it. I've found that positional audio is good in games. It's been great for gaming on, also for listening to music and general day-to-day use. I have very few complaints about the sound and the overall finish of this headset and all the different things it offers. I think it's fantastic in a number of different ways. I'm really struggling to find any issues with it. The microphone, as you can hear, isn't the best. It's not amazing. I've heard better microphones on other headsets. It's quite compressed. However, it is a wireless microphone, so that is what you'd usually get from a wireless mic. You often have that compromise. But if you're like me and you want to just ditch the headset microphones and go for an external microphone, you can do that really easily, obviously, and you have the ability to plug in a 3.5mm connection and mic monitor that way. So there's loads of flexibility in this headset. And it also is stylish with this white finish, although you can get a black one if you prefer, and you can customize it. Multiple connections in terms of the audio, and having that dual connectivity with both Bluetooth and 2.4 GHz wireless is obviously a bonus at this price as well. So you're getting a lot for your money. It's really well thought out. One complaint that I do have, however, is that it doesn't seem to work with Logitech's G Hub, and it also doesn't work with Astro's Command Center. At the point of making this video, I can't get it to work with either of those bits of software on PC, which seems completely illogical to me. However, if you're connecting it via Bluetooth, you can obviously switch between the settings. You can also use the little joystick to change some of the settings, and it'll beep and boop in your ear to let you know when you're doing it. And I suppose that's a good thing that you can do that and that you can tweak some of these. You can see that you can also go through the various noise gate settings on the microphone, and I'll show a bit more of that later on and talk about the difference between those. But you'll notice that you have both boom mic and internal microphones, so you have the options for both. Obviously the boom mic will give you superior sound, and that's what you're hearing at the moment. But you can also change it so that you can throw on a noise filter, so it'll eliminate some background noise. And as you can see, you can go through the various different sound profiles and tweak the equalization by just dragging things around with relative ease there. And then you can check the sound audio and see if you're happy with it. And basically, there isn't many settings in there at the moment, as you can see. You basically have immersive and then footstep mode. So there's not much to choose from, but you can customize your own. Now this is obviously, as you saw at the beginning, a beta version of the software on the app, so it might well change in the future, and hopefully it will be improved, and maybe it will get thrown into G-Hub or into the Astro Command Center, or both, and you'll be able to control it on your PC as well. I'd like to be able to see that. It's a bit weird to not have those controls. But in Windows, as you'd expect from Astro's headset, you do get Astro Game and Astro Voice settings in the sound settings, which means that you also have a game voice balance, so you can switch between those modes and you can balance the audio one way or the other. So if you need to hear more of your friends, you can do that, and less of them, more of the game. You can balance between those two, so you get a choice of that, and you can do that on the headset or from your app. And so there's some flexibility there as well. So a lot of different boxes being ticked here. As I said, it's also Bluetooth, so it means you can take calls with it. As you've seen from the setup process, it talks to the phone in terms of connecting up and pairing with that. So you can use these as headphones. Obviously, these ones are quite in your face from the styling, and you'll see them on my head in a minute. But you can take them out of the house and use them. There's no RGB lighting, so they just look like pretty funky headphones. And take the mic off, and away you go with that sound. Bluetooth connection, but you can also purchase USB-C dongle. At least you're meant to be able to. I can't see it on their website at this moment, but maybe that'll change in the future. So close-up views of it, and you'll see some various other things. You'll notice that the little holes for the microphones, for example. You'll also notice that the ear cups have a nice twist to them. And from what I saw when putting them on, you notice there's a little bit of tilt in some of the ear cups as well when you're trying to get the speaker tags off, which, by the way, is a bit of a fiddle. It's a bit hard to get your finger underneath them. You'll notice that there is some adjustability in the headband and around that area as well. I found that this results in a really good clamping force and a nice comfortable fit, and the overall result is it's really easy to adjust these headphones or this headset into a way that fits nicely all day long. Overall, basically, a real struggle, as you can hear, to pick holes in it. It's a great headset, comfortable, good audio experience, really good battery life, and even when you do run low on battery, obviously you can plug in a USB-C cable, or you can just plug in a 3.5mm. Plug in a 3.5mm, you don't need to worry about battery anymore, because you can just carry on gaming, as you can see me doing here. Now, for reference, this headset's actually plugged in a 3.5mm connection to a microphone at the moment, so I'm mic monitoring, but the audio is still fantastic, both over 3.5mm and over wireless, and so the options there are multifaceted. So basically, no frustrations with, oh no, my headset's run out of battery, what do? You just plug in a 3.5mm, or you plug in a USB-C cable and charge it up, and then just keep going anyway. So overall, a fantastic headset. And I'm going to just show you now the difference between the boom mic and the built-in microphones to give you an idea of what that's like. This is how I've been talking to you the entire time, so with the boom microphone, and you can see just sort of how far it is from my mouth, and also obviously you have to get it in the right position, so if I put it close it probably sounds a little bit richer, but I can also hear the wind from my mouth a lot more, so it's probably a point of adjusting it. But one thing I haven't had to do is sort of adjust the volume of it. It's pretty loud, as standard as you can hear, and also from the app, as you can see here, you can adjust the side tone, so you can see the side tone's cranked all the way up so I can hear myself quite nicely. But I can also go into here and adjust various different other settings, so it's possible, for example, to put it on high mode for noise gate. So now that's on the high mode for noise gate, and so we're able to test the difference between that, and you'll be able to hear what the difference is. So I am now typing on the Corsair K100 Air, which, by the way, I've done a video on, and it isn't particularly quiet. So it's this low-profile keyboard, which is pretty nice, but it's not quiet one. So if you can hear some of that sound, I'm just going to switch the noise gate off now, and change. So now noise gate's off again, and then you'll be able to hear the difference between that. And if I just cycle through them, so that's on low noise gate, and then this is on medium, and then this is on high. I've been sort of typing the whole time. Obviously, the more noise gate you apply, the worse your voice is going to sound, but the more noise it will eliminate, and obviously also eliminate some background noise from other things. I haven't actually found that it's picked up a lot of background noise, though. I get a lot of car noise, cars going past the house, which regularly interferes with my recordings, which can be a pain. but it doesn't seem to be much of a fuss here. However, that said, as you can hear, it is quite compressed. Now, I will say that actually with the side tone, you sound better to yourself than you do in recordings. And I can tell you that from listening to myself. I've been doing the voiceovers and then listen back to the end recording. So don't judge the mic based on what you're hearing in the headset, because what you are hearing will be different to what your friends are hearing via Discord. So I think it's worth probably recording yourself with Audacity or something else just to judge what it sounds like. But as I said, you really want a dedicated microphone, I think, for a better experience. However, you can pop it off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop this off and we're going to use the internal mics instead. So now, oof, that's rough. So now I am on. So now you can see that I'm on the internal microphone, and I didn't actually change any settings. I just pulled the mic out and it automatically switched to the internal mic, and that does not sound good with the side tone on. So I'm going to just turn the side tone down a bit. It's kind of. I wouldn't recommend the side tone on that. It's pretty horrific. As you can see, you can also adjust the settings again for the noise gate settings on there as well. But you have that flexibility to be able to do this, and that's pretty neat, I think. The fact that you can then obviously use these out of the house for phone calls and whatever else. The sound isn't as good though. Anyway, hopefully this has been a great look at the Astro A30 Wireless. If you haven't smashed that subscribe button already, do it now and give me a thumbs up if you liked it. I'm really sorry about the mic audio, but hopefully it gave you a good look at what the headset's like, an overall sort of experience of what it might be like if you're using it. Do yourself a favour, get a good microphone like one of these. That's the Short SM7B and the Elgato Wave DX. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Thanks for watching.
This has been the Provoked Prawn. Hope you found this video useful, interesting, hilarious, or otherwise. Take a look at these other videos that I think you might find interesting as well. And have a look at the description for links and other information you might find useful. Click that join button to see the benefits of being a member of my YouTube channel. And most importantly, have a great life.